Hello again, Art 2 students. We are back today to start talking about how to get the dragon, our final dragon, onto the large scratch board. I've put all of this in your packet for you, so hopefully you have all the pieces. This is what our goal is. We're going to have our finished dragon. This is what we're going after. You can see the metallic dragon. You can see all of the different details and things in here. To make this easier for you, what we're going to do is take your original drawing that you did, your original detailed drawing, and your drawing should be almost the same size as your scratch board that I gave you in your packet. Remember, this is a metallic scratch board. You either got silver or gold. And you're going to lay your paper over here very carefully, line it all up, and then you're going to take a couple of pieces of tape, because we want to make sure that this doesn't move. Remember, before we do this, you have to have the back of your picture all colored rather darkly with a number 2 pencil, so that you can get all of this graphite on the back so that it will transfer. If you don't do this, your dragon will not transfer onto your scratchboard paper. So to help us make as little mistakes as we can with this project, we're going to make sure we transfer this on. So you want to make sure you have this step finished, as we talked about in the last video. And then you're going to line up your paper, your drawing, your sketch on top of the scratch board, and then you're just going to take a couple of pieces of tape and tape around so that our dragon drawing does not move while we are transferring it onto our scratch board. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some weird double images there. Now I'll put this piece of tape over here. Alright, so just a couple of pieces of tape. You can use Scotch tape or masking tape. Alright, so we have our dragon drawing on top of our scratch board. Now what you're going to do, and I highly recommend you use a ballpoint pen for this. You're going to end up tracing all of your drawing that you did here so that we make sure it all gets transferred onto the scratch board. And since we're tracing it over it, if we do it with pen this time, you'll be able to remember what you've traced and what you haven't. So you're just going to take a ballpoint pen, you should have one in your art box, and you're just going to start going over all of the lines of your dragon drawing very carefully. Remember, you only get one shot at this, only one piece of scratch board. So that's why we're going to do this as carefully as possible to make it as neat as possible. So you're just going to go through here and trace all of the components, all of the parts of your dragon drawing very carefully. This is going to take time, guys. This is a time-consuming, very detailed project. So you're just going to go over all the parts of your dragon very, very carefully and in pen, so then you can tell what you've done and what you've not done. I would suggest that you go ahead and trace all of those little designs that you've done. You should have lots of detail in this dragon. You should have all kinds of scales and details. If you have grass, you should have blades of grass, all kinds of details showing. Here's another example here. Someone has got some, they've got a drawing that has tree bark on the trees, feather textures for these wings, fur, grass, water lines. All of those are those really important detail lines. If you put them in here now and transfer them, you're less likely to make a mistake when you get onto the scratch board. So take your time and just trace over all of this very carefully. When you're finished, and you're sure you're finished, you can pull up your paper, untape it, and pull it up. And I wouldn't take the tape all the way off, because this paper will help protect your board. So you'll just untape this. I taped this up pretty good, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to get it off. And then what you're going to end up doing is you're going to start seeing, and I haven't finished this, of course, but you're going to start seeing your drawing onto the paper. So make sure you don't lift this all the way off until you know that you're finished. But when you're finished, you're going to take this off, and then you're going to get your scratching tool that's in your packet, and you're going to start scratching the designs out as we discussed in the last video with our practice piece. Remember, you're not going to just go in here and outline all these lines with this tool. Anyone can do that, but since we're in Art 2, we are going to learn how to do the values and the texture. So when you start putting this in here, you're not just going to outline this lava on the mountain. You would come in here and start highlighting it and figuring out where you want the light parts and the dark parts, and doing that with either hatching, cross-hatching, or stippling. These lines are just guidelines to show you where to put your values and your textures. Take your time on this, guys. This is, like I said, a very time-consuming project. Check the due dates on the assignment site so that you know when it is due. Make sure you take a good picture of it and submit it when you're finished. And just take your time. I'm excited to see how these turn out. Message me with any questions you have. And in the meantime, guys, happy arting. Talk to you next time.